Rasslin Lounge. I'm your host, J.M. McCaffrey, and I'm joined, as usual, by none other than the designated podcaster, Go Jonesy.
Yeah.
Go, how you feeling?
Feel great.
Yeah?
Yeah. Look homeless, but I feel great.
Oh man, it's the go home show.
Yeah.
It's the last week, bro.
Yep.
It's the last week. I don't think we get a go home show.
I don't think we get a lot.
I think this is all gonna be.
And the WWE Network doesn't know when this show happens either, because it's on the heels of ECW's first ever pay-per-view.
Yes.
Don't be confused by that, because we looked it up 3 times.
We triple checked. April 8th, 1997. Hardcore TV is obviously the lead-in to Barely Legal, so it's gonna be all recap videos and highlights and promos.
Probably a lot of promos that we won't hear, and we'll just talk over. It's going to be great, because right now I can see in a preview Pitbull 2's eyes.
Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it, Jonesy, because we got a lot of gabbing to do over this one.
Yeah, we do.
We are at 00001 ECW Hardcore TV, April 8th, 1997, on the WWE Network, and we are going to start in 3, 2, and play.
Here
We
go.
open with the Pitbulls.
Broke neck
Pitbull number 1.
Bald Pitbull.
Pitbull number 1 and Pitbull number 2.
My
Pitbull
bad.
number
Ooh!
1 had the broken neck
Broken freaking neck.
because Shane Douglas twisted his head into the...
Get right into his eyes there with that handheld. I like it.
And this is what, we talked about this because like a few weeks ago, they showed us the highlights of Shane Douglas versus Pitbull number 1.
Right.
Like, why is that not the pay-per-view match? Why is Shane Douglas versus Pitbull number 2 the pay-per-view match? Because it wasn't.
I think he's legit injured.
Again, though? But
we didn't see Pitbull 1, I don't think, ever after this.
Yeah, well...
Not much, anyway.
Probably not. I don't remember because I didn't watch ECW much. But we saw him have, like, a comeback match already, though.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
why was that match not on the pay-per-view?
Right,
Why did they go
was that not the payoff for this? Well, maybe he hurt himself again in that match. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it seems dumb to have gone to that match if he could hurt himself.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they didn't give a shit.
I mean, I guess ECW, man, and I wonder if maybe they thought they were going to a tag match, right?
Well, you also got
the ECW match.
Him and Brian. It would be Brian Lee and Shane
versus
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the easy assumption, huh?
Right? And you think too, like at the time, if he didn't wrestle, he didn't earn money. So this is probably what he did for a living. And if he was hurt, he would have came back too soon.
Yeah.
Because that shit happened all the time to any kind of athlete back then.
Right. And
I'd be willing to bet that's part of what went on here.
Shoot, I mean, it happens to indie workers today.
Oh, yeah, shit, yeah, absolutely. And they're, most of them, it's not their living,
right.
So.
Right. Yeah, probably.
Well,
and probably building up, because every time we've seen, everything we've seen in the build-up so far with Shane Douglas, Shane's always shows up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, Brian Lee, whatever. I like Shane's better than Brian Lee.
Yeah. Better person. I agree. In there with the headgear.
Dude, in there with that. Dude.
See, that was probably ill-advised, too.
Man, I was going to say, I don't know the mechanics of the halos and stuff, But, like, they are... Shane Douglas grabs that halo and whips him back and forth. And to watch it with a critical eye, it doesn't look like there is any neck movement. It looks all torso.
Yeah.
It looks like it functions the way it's supposed to.
Right.
And he's very deliberate. Look, back, forth. It's so very deliberate how he does it. But still, just like, that can't be a good idea. Like,
no.
Neither
of us are medical professionals,
right.
But yeah, that's definitely seems ill-advised.
Back too soon.
Here comes the masked man that wears awesome sweaters.
He looks so skinny.
God, he's taller than Shane, too. Isn't that crazy? I know he's wearing cowboy boots, but...
No. I mean, Rick
Forget
Rude was
how big,
always tall. Rick Rude.
He wasn't tall in the WWF.
Oh, Rick Rude stood head and shoulders above the Warrior.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go back and look. Rick Rude's Undertaker height.
No, he's not.
Yeah, for sure.
You're insane. He's not taller than Jake.
He's about Jake's height.
I don't think he is.
And Jake is taller than all those guys.
I don't think he's not taller than Taker.
He's almost as tall as Taker.
No.
Yeah, man. Go back and watch.
You're nuts.
No, I'm right.
You're on Somas.
No, they're. Well, what? They were probably billed. I think Jake was billed 6'7".
Yeah.
So he was probably 6'5".
I think Jake's legit 6'5" or 6'6".
And
Taker's legit 6'8", 6'9".
And yeah, and Rude's probably 6'5", 6'6", just like. Yeah, man. Go back and watch his matches with Warrior. He's so much taller than Warrior.
I'm gonna look.
Noticeably taller than Warrior.
What was Warrior? Probably
6'2",
6'3".
6'2", 6'3", because he wasn't. Warrior was not taller than Hogan, who they always build at 6'7".
Rick Rude's build at 6'3".
No way.
And I would have guessed he was shorter than that.
No way.
Because of that era of WWF.
Because of that era. I bet that's his real height.
That's what I saw on Wikipedia. Is what I mean.
Oh,
not
well, it's on Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's
on
true.
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But he was noticeably taller. He was always as tall as Jake, almost. It's tough to remember exactly. But he was noticeably taller than the Warrior. He was so much taller than Steamboat.
I didn't realize he was 6'3". Like I would have said he was 6 foot at the most.
No, man, he's tall and lanky, bro.
Like he man.
He was like a full 2 feet taller than Bobby Heenan.
He was taller than Bobby Heenan. But at that point in time, Bobby Heenan had done so much damage to his spine that he was probably a full foot shorter
than he was when he was born. Maybe. Man,
I had no idea, man.
Yeah,
I really
man.
didn't until just now.
Man. He's a tall guy.
I never would have guessed he was 6'3". That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess the only reason he would have got a sniff in the WWF.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that and he was
jacked.
Shredded.
Yeah.
Shredded.
Unbelievably.
Man.
Probably still is here.
Oh yeah. I think he looks thinner though. I think he's probably off the gas.
He's leaner for sure. Yeah. But he was always lean. Like he was
always lean.
Lean
and you know, clothes have such a way of like leaning out lean guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, he can come in if he took that baggy sweater off, I probably would be like, oh, he looks just as good as he did.
Yeah, he'd have his 12 abs that he shouldn't have.
12 extra abs. You got a six pack and 12 extra.
18 ab muscles. Yeah. Right. This has nothing to do with what we're watching, but I was watching
it does.
Finn Balor last night with the kids. I said, look, he's got 18 ab muscles. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, look. They're like, wow, he does have a lot. I'm like, it's not 18, though, guys.
No.
Your dad's an idiot.
Don't be ridiculous. There's only 12 there.
I said, I bet he's never had a cheeseburger, though. And they're like, oh, that sounds terrible.
I bet he has. I bet he eats like garbage, man. I bet Finn
Balor. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, man. I bet Finn Balor has never meal prepped or cared what he ate.
Got
I bet he
super
eats whatever.
metabolism. Yeah.
He's just one of those guys.
Yeah.
He is just one of those guys that just has that body.
These promos, dude, like we saw this last week with Raven, where it was legit 10 minutes of talking.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here. We're recapping the entire fucking story, right?
So they're building.
They're twisting the ropes with Pitbull One's head in there.
Well, they've turned this from a. So to be fair though, this isn't just a promo.
No, sure.
Right, this is like a video package.
Yeah.
So it's got. I mean, there's been a solid 10 minutes of Pitbull #1 cutting promo, but there was also some of. Like they played Rick Rude's whole promo in there,
and they didn't just.
Highlights.
It wasn't just like a faded over thing. Like it was there. Like look at this guy.
Wow, all in the face. Talk about all in the face, dude. I can count his pores right now.
Thank God he didn't talk till the end.
Oh, and that's it.
Yep.
Extreme.
I don't even know the theme song.
No, that's the Nitro one.
That's a throwback to our NWO run. Oh God!
I think this is. I feel like they swap some of these out too, like every week.
Yeah,
I don't feel like
they
this
get new
is the
footage.
same every week.
Absolutely, I wouldn't. Yeah, because
we always see that.
Yeah, we do.
We always see
and
that.
we always see
Mikey Whipwreck die to
getting
death.
Killed.
And we always
Beulah
see
and Francine.
Yeah, Beulah and Francine are always
and
the
New
same.
Jack jumping off of a balcony. And this
here comes the chairs.
Weird deal,
dude. I would quit, bro. if I was
I like that Terry Funk is the smarter guy in the ring there. He takes one chair to the noggin and falls down, and he can just cover up that, and Mick Foley's still got to stand there.
Yeah,
bang bang, no matter what hits him.
Well, what about the? I mean, you know, I say I would quit, but like the Public Enemy are on the bottom of that chair pile with the fans. Just
you're right.
In. They're the safest, right?
Yeah.
Like once you get hit with the first chair,
you're good.
Then
you
have armor. Yeah. So you just lay there.
No, we've talked about this. I would have for sure tried to fight every person in that arena. Like I would have been like, nope, out, and hopped out of the ring, grabbed one guy, gotten murdered in Philadelphia. That would have been the end of Jonesy.
I was gonna say, and I'd have been in the ring like, man, you shouldn't have done that shit. I'd just stay covered up. I'd just stay covered up.
This is Philadelphia, bro.
They're just looking for a reason.
That banquet for Terry Funk, by the way, is $50 per person.
Woo!
Seems like a bargain nowadays.
In '97, I don't believe any ECW fan could afford $50 per person.
I wouldn't either.
I actually do. I bet they all double mortgaged their trailers to come and have dinner with Terry Funk.
Dude, you know, there's kids sitting ringside that their parents are doctors and wealthy as fuck. And that's who's ringside at these shows.
You think?
No, yes.
So
100%.
So they're all Raven's gimmick. Remember when they did that? Remember when they revealed that in WCW that Raven was like a rich kid?
Yeah.
That was the worst.
Whoa,
dude.
Rick Rude towering over the pit bulls. We always thought Pitbull number 2 was huge, but he's only huge compared to Pitbull number 1.
I mean, he's thick as fuck too.
Yeah, they're both big as shit.
And I bet it's all natural.
Yep.
I bet.
Yeah.
They never did any steroids.
No, man. This is
ECW
the old
fan camp.
This is the Hammerstein Ballroom.
They just let this fan jump the rail and follow.
Yeah. Yep.
Follow this guy around.
Take whatever shitty video you can. We need it. RVD. Oh, that seemed ill-advised for Pitbull 1. I'm good.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude. So I guess now we see. Oh, is that? No, that's what's his name? Todd Gordon.
Yeah, Todd Gordon. Who's still? Why is he still around?
He was around until the very end. He was around until.
I thought everything got taken over by Heyman and he was gone.
No, Todd Gordon stuck around. Well, so he bought it from Todd Gordon, but kept Todd Gordon around.
Oh, okay.
Remember, because Todd Gordon was around up until. There was the big conspiracy where like Todd Gordon and who's the whistle guy that we hate,
Bill Alfonso.
They were gonna leave and take a bunch of guys to WCW and do like an invasion, and there was like some fucking voicemails that somebody like played for Paulie, and so Paulie, and this was like late. This was like late in the game for ECW, and Paulie fired Todd Gordon, and that was when they did the Beulah, because Heyman's always like, oh, that Bill Alfonso saved his career by having that match with Beulah.
That's right. So it was all
that
bullshit. He was just trying to sell it to to the boys.
I mean, probably, yeah. But who knows?
Is this the Hammerstein Ballroom?
Yes.
This is where Raw was?
Yes.
How much bigger did this fucking place look when Raw was there? Right?
Well, they shot it properly.
Well, yeah, obviously. Like, I understand that. But, like, you go back and they talk about the pain in the ass of getting into this venue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
like it was on like on the 10th floor of a building, and
and
they had to take everything through a freight elevator.
Did they have a freight elevator? I thought they didn't. I thought they had to carry the shit up the stairs.
Yeah, no, they had an elevator.
Okay.
Just a regular one.
Well, but a 20 by 20 ring doesn't fit in an elevator.
Right, exactly.
Right, yeah.
Like, how the fuck did you took it up the goddamn stairs 10 floors?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I would have quit that day.
Hey, listen. Legit.
Yeah.
I worked for Party Creations, which was like a party rental store. We were in tents. We had to take a tent up to it was a frame tent that was, I think, 10 by 20 that we had to take up to the balcony of the Crown Plaza. And they didn't have a freight elevator. And there was 5 of us, and we would go up, like we would have each of us on the floor, and we would pass the poles like hand over hand up, and I think it was like 12 or 13 floors.
At least that.
Yeah, and we would pass them like up the middle of the staircase, hand over hand, and the last guy would pull them up and lay them down on the stairs, and then we'd all run up the next 5 and pass them up hand over hand. It was, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it gets done, but it's a motherfucker.
Yeah, I would have quit that day.
Oh, here we are, all the way back to
Eastern
franchise
Championship Wrestling, right? Because he's the one who dumped it in the trash and was the ECW champion, right?
Yes, proclaimed it a world championship.
Yep. So, look at Shane there.
Dude, he is so lean here.
Lean.
Looks younger. Skinny and young.
Looks young.
This is right after WCW though. Like he had just left tagging with Ricky Steamboat.
But that was like what, 95?
Was it that? 96 probably, right?
96? I mean, look at him now, like yoked.
Oh yeah.
And he looks rougher.
Yep. For sure.
You know.
He's got that. He looks like Triple H, man.
He does.
Like Triple H just straight stole the franchise gimmick from no, I mean like legit, man. Like the slick back hair and the ponytail, like he did all that stuff. The stubble. Triple H, the game gimmick, like the game.
It is the franchise gimmick. It really is.
He just straight stole everything. I mean, the leather jacket. I mean, Shane used to wear those leather jackets. He did not.
I laughed at you, and I think you're right.
He did not take the fucking tassels.
No. God damn it.
Like that's why Triple H never quite got it over the way Shane did.
If he had the Texas Tornado boots,
yes,
he would have been good.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard franchise? Have you ever heard Shane Douglas talk about when he was pitched that gimmick?
The franchise
Yeah.
gimmick? No.
So when I heard Shane Douglas on some shoot, I think it was a RF early shoot. He said that the way
he does a lot of those.
Yes, he said that the way he's got free time when he's not managing a Walmart, bro.
I was just about to say the reason I've never listened to Shane Douglas do a shoot interview is because I think he's full of shit.
Probably.
Which all shoot interviews probably are. Too.
So I believe this I believe this story though, and I'll explain why. Because it sounds true to me. But what he said was that when because Heyman pitched him the franchise gimmick, and when Heyman pitched the gimmick, he pitched it as like, you're gonna wear, all the franchise players of like sports, like you're gonna wear Jordan jerseys, and you're gonna wear Gretzky jerseys, and you're gonna wear, stuff like that, and like you're gonna call yourself the franchise and compare yourself to all these guys, and that sounds like a Paul Lee gimmick. And Shane Douglas says he went, well, hold on, I like what you're getting at, but if I'm the franchise, I wouldn't be comparing myself to anybody else. I would be the franchise of your company. And then he ran with it, and Paulie was like, he says Paulie was like, oh my gosh, yeah, well, obviously I love that. And so then he became that, and that's this gimmick.
That makes sense.
He's got sunglasses at night.
Yeah. I hope he's not driving later.
I wore my sunglasses at night. Got into a terrible car accident.
Corey Hart, what happened to you? Thanks for watching, people that are 40-year-old, 40-year-old,
all the
older.
Everybody, hey, go catch up on Saturday Night Live. You'll thank us for it.
Yeah, early 2000s especially.
Anyway, and that sounds like a real story to me.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard plenty of franchise stories or Shane Douglas stories that I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
You didn't punk out Stone Cold and give him the Stone Cold gimmick one time. No, shut up, franchise. Like,
that's the most wrestling thing there is, right? Like, every fucking old wrestler's like, yeah, I gave him this idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, every one of them. And then I called Hulk and told Hulk and what the fuck?
I'm the guy who gave Hulk Hogan the videotape of Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah. He hadn't seen it before me.
Like that one always blew my mind too, though, because you know who was not anything like Superstar Billy Graham? Hulk Hogan.
No.
Until
well, I mean, maybe
until
early
he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Maybe early when he was a heel, he was.
No, he was not.
Well, I haven't seen enough of that.
I've never felt like he was until he became Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I did not feel like, other than like throwing up the and talking about the guns. Like, I did not feel like Hulk Hogan did anything until when he was Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Then, he had the bandana and the boas, and then he was
Billy Graham.
Right.
Yeah.
But before that, and nobody talks about how Jesse Ventura was straight up just a fucking, he just
Billy
did
Graham.
the Superstar Billy Graham gimmick.
Absolutely. Nobody ever calls him on that. Because they might be afraid for their life. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair.
But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And we're getting into a Dudley promo that I'm sure is awesome.
Testify.
Bubba's a great talker, man. Bubba is
he's dumpy here. He's so dumpy here.
Bubba is one of the best live performers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. Saw him at house shows. Just.
I think Bubba is probably one of the most underrated performers.
I think you're right.
You know what I mean?
I think you're absolutely right. And he could do it on TV too, but seeing him in a house show, my God, dude.
Well, man,
motherfucker just was louder than the entire arena.
Yeah.
Every time. And just sold everything perfectly for the crowd, and he was there for the crowd, and you can tell that difference, especially in WWE shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You can tell that difference, and he was head and shoulders above anybody else.
I believe it.
The only other person I've ever seen, this is weird too, the only other person I've ever seen on a house show who worked as hard as Bubba Ray did was Alberto Del Rio.
Okay.
I'm serious. That's a legit thing. A few years later, I saw him at a house show with one of my daughters, and I was like, my God, dude. This dude's acting like he's a heel at an indie show. You know?
That's awesome.
It was great.
Well, I always said that about, I always felt like Alberto Del Rio was a head above everybody. He was in that, who was that, that immigrants stable they had? It was him and Cesaro and some other, maybe
I don't remember him and Cesaro together.
Maybe KO. Gosh, I don't remember. It was like a late 2000s immigrant,
or late 2010s.
Gimmick, late 2010s, late 2010s immigrant gimmick stable.
Because he hasn't been around the WWE in several years.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it was just, and it was probably right before he left. Not right before. It was right before
he went to Impact Wrestling and won their championship. Right. First night. Right.
Yes.
So.
But even just looking, I remember looking at him in this group of guys and Alberto Del Rio, and just thinking man, he looks like a star, and all these other guys look like indie wrestlers. And I wish I could remember.
I can't see that with Cesaro, but I can see that, especially with some of the talent that they brought in around that time.
So Cesaro's a great worker, but he doesn't have that look. I mean, think about Alberto Del Rio. He was fucking handsome. He had the black hair slicked back. You know what? That's and that's what I'm talking about.
I got you.
I'm not talking about skill wise.
So if we want to say that's the Horseman, Cesaro's Arn,
Yes.
Del Rio is Flair.
Yes. And then the other two guys and then they were all just off. Like, you know, it was Del Rio and nobody. Jesus.
I just want to watch the Eliminators and the Dudleys for 24 hours. Because every one of these we've seen.
I'm all in on that, man.
Every one of these we've seen. It's murder, it's fun athleticism, and it's the fucking Dudleys who are the shit. They're great.
You know, I used to have this opinion of Perry Saturn that he was like something special.
Yeah, well, a lot of people did, man.
And well, I don't know how to explain it. Like, okay, so when I first started seeing Perry Saturn in WCW, they treated him like Ken Shamrock.
He was better than all of the flock guys, though.
He was
the best of the flock guys.
Well, and he was never a flock guy. Remember, he was Raven's friend. He was never part of the flock.
Okay.
He was never part of the flock. And he was on his own right away. And they leaned real heavy on that. The Army Rangers. Was he a Ranger?
Yeah.
They leaned real heavy on that Ranger thing, and they just treated him like he was above everybody. And like I remember being so confused because they did that in WCW, and it was like. You know, Perry Saturn, and he seemed like above everybody, and he was always in great shape, and he would have these good matches. They let him be one of the first guys that like held his own with Goldberg. Didn't beat Goldberg, but like one of the guys who like, you know, made
when Goldberg was making that meteoric rise, like, you know, early on, he was
one of the early guys. They didn't even
do that with Regal, like
right. That's Regal. Well, Regal did it, and then got in trouble for it.
Got fired for it.
Yeah. Then when they finally had somebody do it, it was Perry Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And I always remember being like super confused because then he came to the WWE and it was like, here's a mop, bro. Why don't you talk to the mop? And I never got and now looking back, I realized like, oh well, he was just an indie worker that WCW decided to put over and WWE decided not. It's not like you know what I mean? But it's so weird.
But here's the thing that I think hurt Perry Saturn because like Bruce Pritchard has talked about, he thought. Of those four guys that came over, Perry Saturn was a star.
Yes.
I mean, how off can you be?
Yeah,
but look at who you came over with, and nobody knew at that time. But even us seeing it here, we're like, 25 years ago, we say Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn. Which of these is not like the other?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but when they came over, it was well established and well thought of that Perry Saturn was going to be the star. Now, personally, one of my favorites at the time was Benoit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you see Benoit in a ring with The Rock, and you're like, oh, man. Fuck.
The Rock's 3 feet taller than Chris
Jesus
Benoit.
Christ. Oh, but Chris Benoit hits that hard? Okay. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
You know, but like Saturn just got lost in the shuffle of two fucking enormous superstars.
Yes.
And Dean Malenko, who was amazing, unbelievable.
But if you really are a star, you don't get lost in the shuffle.
Right. But you also have to put into this context here also where Benoit and Guerrero were ready to become stars 5 years before they were stars.
For sure.
It took them 5 fucking years in WWE to get, championships.
It was like they started over. Yeah. Now Benoit or Guerrero had the injury.
Yes.
Guerrero had that injury right away. Second night,
Yep.
Guerrero had that injury.
On that SmackDown.
Yes. Yep. But for sure, Benoit, it was like they started over. Mm-hmm. And had to fucking completely rebuild.
Yeah, but they had that night where it was like, here we are, and obviously you knew immediately like when Malenko comes over.
Sure. Like, why did they even hire Malenko?
Right.
I love Dean Malenko.
Well, you know
I love Dean Malenko, but the WWE is not this place.
You know why it was a good hire? Because of the agent he became. for them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you think
I don't think they
saw
knew that. I don't think they knew
All
that
right.
then.
All right.
I think they knew he was a big name from WCW, and they're like, "Yep, let's do this."
All right. That I will.
And I honestly now, like, as we're talking about it and watching this and everything, like, I think that's why Perry Saturn got hired. Because he was with these other guys.
You think they thought he was going to be a agent?
No. Say he was with these other guys, and they're like, well, I guess we got to bring all these guys on. But legit, like Pritchard says, he thought Saturn was going to be the guy out of all these guys.
Maybe.
These guys and these.
Do you think? Well, like look at Saturn here. You know, maybe it's the way he was shot because we can't tell he's cross-eyed here.
So.
You know what I mean? Like,
I understand. Yeah,
when you see him on TV,
he's got a lazy eye.
Yeah, and they don't
one eye on the wall and one eye on me.
Right,
wall eye.
And then he walks into a room where Vince McMahon can try to look him in the eye, right? Like all of a sudden things change.
What do you think that conversation was like? What are you looking at?
Try to look at me, pal. I don't know. Is he talking to me or who's he talking to? I don't even know what's going on here.
We've said that before covering this run.
Yeah.
John Cronus, you would have guessed, was the star of this tag team.
Probably.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a better athlete. He's not a better wrestler.
Oh, look at Joel Gertner's dance.
Yeah,
what the
great.
fuck is that?
Good Lord.
All right.
Good God Almighty. We're doing a tasting.
I'm going to interrupt our wrestling talk here for a tasting, Jonesy.
Okay.
It seems about that time.
Like
and what I have picked for us tonight is some Chivas Regal blended Scotch whiskey aged 12 years. Now, there's also kind of a reason that I've picked this for us. One, I like Scotch. I know you're not a Scotch guy. That's not. I said one, like that's the reason. Because fuck you, drink some Scotch. No.
Yeah,
I like
eat shit
Scotch.
and drink Scotch.
Yeah, we haven't had a bunch of Scotch. The couple Scotches we've had on here have been garbage.
It's all my fault, guys, because I don't like the taste of Band-Aids. So,
so actually, I picked this one because we're both kind of writers. Outside of our wrestling endeavors, we're hobbyist writers. This is oh God. I lost his name.
Good God Almighty. Stephen King.
No, fucking
Hemingway.
No, nobody that big. Fear and Loathing.
Oh fuck, Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter S. Thompson. This is Hunter S. Thompson's drink.
It is not. His drink is fucking cocaine and
Chivas Regal. He used to get shaved ice and make a Chivas Regal snow cones.
That's awesome.
That's why
after doing that much cocaine, you have to come down from something.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Yes. So this is why I picked this for us. I figured that'd be a good one.
That is a good one. So the personal.
It's got that Band-Aid smell on it.
They all have that Band-Aid smell.
There is no. I disagree with that, but I like scotches.
I know.
I look for the smoky scotches.
Well, the smoky ones you can hide the Band-Aid smell.
I was gonna say there's no smoke.
No smoke
here.
at all.
This is all
it's blended.
Band-Aid.
So, several years ago,
yes,
me and a friend of mine were like, you know what? We want to become Scotch drinkers. And one night at the bar, this is what we selected. We said, "What's your most expensive Scotch?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's a Johnny Walker, whatever." And I'm like, "They're like
Johnny Walker Blue, $37 a glass."
It's $67 a glass. Oh. We're like, "Okay, what's next?" And they're like, Chivas Regal. And we're like, "How much is that?" Like $12 a glass. Okay, all right, we can give that a shot. And we had like a neat glass of it. And we were bound and determined to be, and we were fucking beer drinkers and bourbon drinkers. We were bound and determined to be Scotch drinkers. We took like one drink, and I'm like, it's $12 fucking dollars. We have to finish this. And we just looked at each other and just went bloop all the way down the gullet.
Oh,
all right, Jim Beam it is.
Jim Beam it is. That's so funny because it was so opposite for me. Because I was like, I think I'm ready to become a whiskey guy, and I went and bought a bunch of like shooter, like small whiskeys, trying to find a whiskey that I like, and the only ones I liked were the scotches. Like,
it's crazy.
Like, and the scotches got me into like you were already a whiskey drinker, and you wanted to become a scotch drinker, couldn't, and I wanted to be a whiskey drinker, and like the scotches were my gateway into drinking whiskey.
That's
so
crazy.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it is.
It smells smooth. There's no booziness to it.
It doesn't. It doesn't smell boozy. It smells like scotch to me.
All right, so let's try
Band-Aids, but you know.
Man, that's a lot of rubber. I like it.
Why does it taste like that?
I don't know.
Why do I like it?
Why do I like it?
I don't know. I don't understand why scotch tastes like fucking Band-Aids.
I bought some. Well, I mean, you know, obviously the peat and the whatever. I bought some Ardbeg 10, which is fairly expensive scotch. It's not high. It's fairly expensive for me. It's probably mid-range, honestly, in the scope of scotches. And it, like, I had drank some, and
goddamn, look at Taz, dude. Sorry.
No, I'm all in, because this is...
Look at him, dude. This is right after the blackout. He appears in the ring.
Yeah, man.
Look at how fucking yoked he is, and
dude, he's
that
in
arena.
Such,
they're going
such
ape
good
shit.
Shape, and yes,
boo.
And he just fills up that ring.
He does,
he's
dude.
3'10".
Yeah,
and 400 pounds, and he just fills up that fucking ring like nobody.
He does,
else.
man. All right, sorry. I
No, you're 100%. I'm totally down. I mean, we can't hear this promo that he's cutting right now.
I bet it's good. He's a great talker. Always has been. Still is.
All his intensity. He just found. I mean, honestly, like, he is the best version of like Warrior and Goldberg. Right, the Taz gimmick is all intensity all the time.
Yeah.
And he
without the size,
and somehow he found the best version of that.
Yeah.
I feel like
I can't.
He could have better matches than Goldberg. He could have better matches than Warrior, and he was more versatile than Goldberg.
Definitely both of those things. But like, I think of those three, like Goldberg is for sure the one for me that I'm like ass kicker. You know. Because when Taz got brought on to a major company, it was like, I know they gave him the big win over Kurt Angle, and that's huge. Like, that's enormous. But they shit on him after that. He didn't get much after that, you know. But like Taz here, is fucking Goldberg.
So.
You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
But Taz couldn't have gone to WWE. Or
I think
CW
I think that has all to do with height.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because Kurt Angle was a short guy anyway, and Taz showed up and was not as tall as Kurt Angle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm sure as soon as Taz was there, and I mean he got a little bit of a run where they were like, "Here, beat." Like he could have dominated the mid card.
Yeah.
You know, like they gave him a little bit of that, and I don't know, but I think then like they were like, hey, you want to commentate one night? And he commentated, and like he was so
shit.
Fucking good. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
and he's still fucking commentating now.
Yes.
And he's managing now, and he's great at it.
Yeah.
Great
and he gets to eat whatever the fuck he wants, and he doesn't have to fucking take bumps.
He doesn't look as old as he is, though, even after all these years of commentating.
No, he looks great.
Yeah, he looks awesome.
He looks fat.
Yeah.
But he looks great.
And we all would. Like, I don't have to keep lifting anymore?
Yeah, okay, sure. Hey, I think he's going to be...
I don't have to stretch motherfuckers out anymore?
Taz is going to be one of those dudes that's like... He's going to... I mean, he's what, in his late 20s, early 30s here? I bet late 20s. I bet he's in his late 20s here, and he looks 40. And
he's going to age like Arn Anderson.
Yes, you know.
Arn Anderson was born 40,
yep.
And he's 65 now, and he still looks 40.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe 45.
That's, like, every time I think about it. Like, when Arn... yeah, we got to get to 45, don't we? When Arn Anderson retired, he was like 37 years old.
Yes.
I think about that shit all the time. I'm like, that motherfucker was 37?
Yeah.
He'd been balding for 27 years? Like, really? I saw him defend the TV title 20,000 times. You can't do that if you're only 37.
All his fault. Yeah. For sure.
Any hooter.
Hey, Taz is still cutting this promo.
Well, all these promos are going to be an hour long because we're not going to watch any wrestling on this deal.
So
we can't. Do we know this is Taz?
Maybe not. Yes, it's Taz.
Are you sure?
With the fucking.
They can stencil on fucking.
On his head.
Oh, it is Taz! Good God Almighty!
I feel like you timed that on purpose. Did you watch this earlier?
I did not.
You cheated. You cheated.
I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought it was just going to be under the towel the whole time. I feel like the smartest guy in the room. Line,
dude. Hey, dude, who had a better one-liner than Taz? Not. I mean, there are plenty that are as good, but beat me if you can. Survive if I let you.
Right.
What's better?
Yeah.
What is better? Look at fucking.
Pretty good.
And here's Sandman with dry blood on his forehead.
No. Sandman just escaped a bar fight.
Escaped.
Yeah. And they're like, hey, we need you to cut this promo. He's like, all right, man. Okay.
Hold on.
He got Tommy Rich voice all of a sudden.
They were. First of all, yes. Have you ever heard the Sandman talk?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Second of all, they probably went, hey, Sandman, we need you to cut this promo. And he went, hold on. I'm going to go get in a bar fight so I can get amped up. I'll be back in an hour.
Yeah, I need to get hit with a bottle before. God damn, dude. That first shot was with the rim of that fucking can, too. Ugh.
Hey, my favorite.
Not that I've ever hit myself with a beer bottle or can before.
Yeah, maybe it feels best that way. My favorite. I don't think he even cut. I don't even think he even cut.
That was in a toilet too. Yeah, no, he didn't. He smoked a cigarette and drank a Budweiser.
My favorite. Hey, listen, my favorite Sandman story.
Blue meanie.
My favorite Sandman story is on one of those fucking ECW documentaries, and Joey Styles is talking about how we the best gimmicks are and the thing Paulie did was he found whoever you were and capitalized on that whatever, right? And he was like, and the Sandman, he was a real gimmick. The Sandman was a character whose favorite thing was to drink and get in a fight. And the last time I was in New York, I was supposed to meet up with the Sandman, but I couldn't because he was in jail because the night before he had gone to a bar and gotten in a fight. I was like, this is the best. It's the best story I've ever heard in my life.
They interviewed him on the New Jack Dark Side of the Ring.
Sandman?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's sitting in a bar. And Rachel, my wife's like, who's this guy? I was like, well, let me tell you about Sandman.
Yes.
You cannot film him anywhere else. Like, this is where he lives, probably.
Right.
Like, he might be homeless. We don't know.
I've actually heard he's a very wealthy contractor.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. He's a fucking awful wrestler. I mean, he was good at his shit. Cheers.
Hey,
Chivas Regal.
I'm so surprised these glasses survived that.
I did too. I am too. There's no way that's the hardest thing these things have been through, though.
Oh, fuck. I like the Chivas. It's good.
Yeah? Right.
I started to tell a story about the Ardbeg.
Oh, yeah.
I bought some Ardbeg 10, and I'd been drinking it, and I was over at my mama's house, and she picked up the glass I'd been drinking it out of, and she smelled it, and she was like, what are you drinking? And I'm like,
did a prisoner make this?
She didn't want to know, because I was like, that's just scotch, and she was like, you know what it smells like? She was like, one time when I was younger.
That's the infinity bottle. Oh, you're pouring some in. I'm bad at this.
It's all right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
She was like, one time when I was younger, I left my emergency brake on in my car, and this glass smells like that. And I was like,
it so does.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, 100%.
It tastes like a tire fire.
Yeah. And
that's better than a Band-Aid.
That stuff was even more so than this, because that had a little bit of the scotchy. Like, The Ardbeg, I'm gonna buy some Ardbeg for us. You're gonna hate it, but I'm gonna love it. Because the Ardbeg definitely has more, like, it's one where the smokiness does not overpower the rubber. It straight up is like smoky rubber, like burning
you've
brakes and
you've
squealing
really
tires.
talked me into it. I gotta be honest with you.
Well,
I'm looking forward to it now.
Luckily, I don't have to talk you into it. You just have to do it because it's on the podcast.
That's true. That's true. I've always been just perplexed that Scotch and blended whiskey and bourbon are all called the same cocktail or the same spirit.
Yeah,
because
they're so different.
Man,
they're so different.
They're just like the flavors you get in Scotch. I'm like, why is this whiskey?
Like,
and what's funny is that is whiskey,
yes.
and those fuckers brought it to Appalachia and made bourbon.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh, we just have corn here. We don't have tire rubber.
Like whiskey and bourbon, I can see. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Blended whiskey and bourbon. Yes.
I
absolutely.
can see it.
Yeah.
But Scotch and
any of
Scotch
the others.
and bourbon, Scotch and whiskey.
Scotch needs to have its own deal.
Completely different.
It needs to be its own spirit.
Yes.
We're gonna campaign on that, run for office, and make that happen. We're not running for office, but we're going to petition.
I'm out.
The next White House.
You want me to do something? I'm out.
Sounds like a lot of work, bro.
Yeah.
Look at Terry Funk walking through
hayfield,
fields of barley, or
is he gonna make some whiskey?
Buckwheat. Yeah.
He's gonna make some
He's
whiskey.
like, I got
that cowboy hat.
Look at that cowboy. Can't walk.
Nah,
one knee doesn't exist.
Hey, this is how I want to remember Terry Funk forever. Hey,
yeah.
hopefully, fucking who's that guy? Dennis Stamp will show up here in a minute.
Oh fuck, dude.
Do you think Dennis Stamp is running the fucking
Dory Funk Sr.?
Right,
there you go. Yes, he is.
No, because he wasn't.
No,
he wasn't booked to run.
Right,
he's
jumping on his trampoline. Who doesn't wear their wrestling cowboy boots to their dad's grave?
Are those wrestling cowboy tennis shoes though? What did they have like fucking laces down the front? What the fuck was that?
With stars on them.
Yeah, dude.
You know that's what Terry Funk wears every day, dude. How much does Dory Funk Jr. look like Dory Funk Sr.?
So much, man. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I'm not there. I did not die.
Wow. Please join us this Sunday night.
Is that it?
Oh, is this over already?
That's it, bro.
We talked over the whole thing?
We talked over the whole thing.
Hey, I feel like we spared everybody.
Hey, but hold on, though. How fucking... Like they went home with Terry Funk, like, walking through a graveyard to his dad's grave.
Well, it's a buckwheat field.
Well, I mean, they didn't bury his dad in the buckwheat field.
No.
That's fuck. That like.
I like how you said buckwheat.
My point is that's emotional shit. Like,
yeah.
Like I'm tuning in for. I'm buying that paper.
No, he got down on a knee.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, this is my last chance.
I'm buying that.
I guarantee you that was what the thing was. This is Terry Funk's last shot.
Yeah, man.
At anything, because he's going away soon.
He
didn't. Spoiler. But that was the deal, dude. Like,
bro.
He was not going to win this thing.
Right.
He was just in there to see if he could do it.
He's a broke down, beat up old man. Like,
he's fucking 50.
How can he beat Sandman and fucking
nobody
Stevie Richards,
nobody
Big
could.
Stevie Cool, and fucking whoever else,
Who
and
could
Raven
beat Sandman?
and Raven.
Yeah. If
Fuck.
he wins that,
Who could beat Sandman? Ah, fuck! I am
this time
ready.
I have some.
I am ready, Jonesy.
Barely legal.
Barely
legal.
Barely legal. Next.
How gross does that sound in this day and age? Like, that sounds like a porn site. 20
I mean, that's
years
why
removed.
they used it, right?
Were there porn? A lot
sounded
of
like
porn?
a porn site then. Come on.
Were there a lot of
It was
porn
only
sites
the 90s.
then?
It was only the 90s, man. It wasn't the fucking 50s.
I mean, I was looking at porn in 97. I don't remember barely legal. Maybe it's because I was 17 or
because you were 17, it's all fucking barely legal.
Barely legal. Probably legal for you, though. Those sites didn't exist.
Holy shit, guys. Well, that's it. We fucking talked a lot about nothing.
We're glad you joined us, though.
We are so glad you joined us. I thought we would cover a little bit more. You know what? I don't even give a shit. I'm ready for Barely Legal. We're going into it next week. I'm going to warn you guys. We're going to start a different kind of format. We're going to start dividing the pay-per-views up. So next week will be Barely Legal Part 1, and the following week will be Barely Legal Part 2.
We think you'll all thank us for this.
Yeah, so you don't have to listen to a 3-hour pay-per-view. Now you can only listen to an hour and 2 hour and a half pay-per-views and get the full experience.
When we get to WWE in like 2015, then you'll have to listen to 3 parts.
And it's all for you guys, not at all because we're tired of watching one pay-per-view.
No, we're gonna watch the whole fucking thing.
I mean, you know, like not because we don't want to watch one pay-per-view and only have one episode. That's 3 hours of recording to only have one episode. That's just rewarding for us, but we feel like listening to it is tough for you guys.
It sucks.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will be back next week with Barely Legal Part 1. Hopefully, you are enjoying this as much as we do. If you are, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, find us on Facebook, Twitter, Drunk Rasslin, DRUNKRASSLIN. You can find us, if you prefer the audio version, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts from. Check us out, the hub, drunkwrestling.com. It's going to have an update coming soon. But until then, make sure you drink responsibly so we can see you next week. We are raising this glass to you guys for joining us.
Perfect. My God. Good God Almighty.
So good.